Hidden from the Empire in the asteroid belt surrounding the Roche system, Verpine engineers, supervised by Admiral Akbar, designed and developed the sexiest starfighter that would ever grace the rebel fleet. The B-Wing could be used as a fighter or a bomber. It had S-foils like an X-Wing, and it could fly either symmetrically in an upright position or on its side with the cockpit off-center like the Falcon. It was armed with more guns than I have ever seen on a starfighter, Rebel or Imperial. And in 1984, Kenner made the B-Wing available to us kids. It was a beautiful replica of its movie counterpart. It was larger and heavier than the X-Wing, but it was also a bit more rugged. White fuselage with gray accents, very movie accurate, except for these red circles on the wings. Does this insignia look familiar to anyone else? The B-Wing did not fly for the Empire of Japan. It wasn't even from this galaxy. I don't know whose idea it was to put meatballs on the B-Wing, but they were not in the movie. However, the Luftwaffe did make use of the Bespin Motors twin-pod cloud car. Excellent aircraft, yeah. We like to fly in the clouds. Many German pilots preferred the cloud car. Its cockpit design was very similar to that of the 109 Messerschmitt. Back to the Kenner B-Wing. As always, Kenner gave this ship some very nice greebling effects. A model company would be hard-pressed to outdo Kenner in details. And the B-Wing even had its own pilot figure. If I had to come up with one negative for this ship, I'd have to say that because it had laser battle sounds, there were batteries. And the battery cover was made out of a flimsier plastic that could warp easily. In 2001, Hasbro released a B-Wing. After a brief inspection, you realize that this is the Kenner B-Wing. Hasbro used a bluish gray for the accents and traded Kenner's black engine boosters for the bluish gray as well. Hasbro used some kind of wash on the fuselage as a weathering effect. It really comes out nice. They also added very light battle damage that is not as overwhelming or obnoxious as the battle damage decals that Kenner gave some ships after The Empire Strikes Back. Hasbro released this B-Wing with a pilot named 10 Num. I think he's a distant cousin of 9 Num, General Calrissian's co-pilot. His pilot headgear is removable, revealing more of his head than I think most of us are prepared for. It wasn't until this moment that I realized 9 Num must have been wearing a hat in Return of the Jedi. One other thing about the Hasbro version. Because it didn't have battle sounds, it didn't have batteries, and therefore no flimsy lid for the battery compartment. It does, however, have fewer of the external decals that the Kenner version had. I've got to say they're both excellent examples of the B-Wing. If you'd like to add one to your collection, price is going to be the biggest difference between the two, the Kenner version being more expensive. Physically, they are more similar than they are different. I hope you enjoyed this video.